I'm Sarah.
And I'm Julie.
Join us for unbuttoned and unedited conversations.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Julie. And we're excited to welcome John Hickman to the podcast. Welcome, John.
Hi. Thank you guys for having me.
We're excited to have you. Thank you for joining us. A lot of our audience might recognize you actually as Mr. Fell in Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, that's usually the only time I get recognized is either from that or the Lifetime Christmas movies I've done.
How many Lifetime movies have you done? Do you know?
I've done 4 total Christmas movies. We did one for Great American.
Great American Family.
Yeah. It's called Christmas Sweethearts. It premiered, I think, last year.
Yeah, it did. That was part of the 2023 collection. Yeah, including the Lifetime ones. You have a Christmas arrangement on that one, and I for sure seen that one.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was the first one I did. And I think it's on Turner Classic now, or it was last year. I don't know about this year.
Oh, we'll have to check. That's fun.
Yeah, no, those are fun. But you recently had a project, and Gunner, a Warner Brothers film starring Morgan Freeman and Luke Hemsworth. Tell us a little bit about your character in that movie.
I play Sheriff Bob Lilly. He's the local small town sheriff. He and Luke Hemsworth's character have a kind of a history together. They're friends, and that Sheriff Lilly kind of has to do what's right. He's on the verge of trying to figure out his job and what's actually right. And there's some conflict there, and it's a pretty good film. I worked with Luke before on Westworld and River Runs Red and Crypto, and so I was real comfortable with him. But he's so awesome. He helped me out. He helps me out a lot, especially when we have a long dialogue. But he's a good, super guy. He did all of his own stunts. And it was filmed about 30 minutes from my house, which was always good.
Oh my God, that's convenient. Never
take that any day.
So can you tell us a little bit, tell us an example of something Luke has done to help you out? Is he giving you some advice, or what do you mean by that?
He's really good at if I get flustered on like a really long scene, he'll take me aside and he'll, work with me a little bit and say, calm down, mate. It's all right, mate. You got it. And it's amazing how he switches back and forth from the accent. He's a good guy.
Yeah. So he does not have an American accent, right?
No, Australia boy.
Yeah.
That blows me away how people can do that.
Yeah, Ryan Quanten, I worked with him on True Blood, and he's the same way. He was actually, first time we met, it was a scene where there was a fight, and he came in right when I didn't meet him, and then right when they said cut, he said, "Hi, mate, I'm Ryan." So I was like, yeah, you are.
The mate is giving away that accent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you mentioned True Blood, and we hear you have a really interesting story about how you got into acting. So can you share that?
I owe it all to True Blood, I guess. I used to sell chicken out on the West Coast. I live in Alabama, but that's where we're based. But I was out in LA went to a fundraiser for LA Children's Hospital, and they had a silent auction, and I saw where Alan Ball, the showrunner for True Blood, had donated a featured walk-on role, which is really nothing more than the camera's on you for like 2 more seconds. Then it's a glorified extra is what it is. But I was a fan of the show, and I'm gonna bid on this, see what happens, and I got it, and went out, did the show, and it had such a blast. It was so weird being on set with everybody that that I watch on on every week, and everybody was so nice. And I sent the producers and a couple of cast members a case of wine. Said thank you. I had a blast. It was awesome. I appreciate it. And they invited me back the next season to do something similar, and that turned into another season, and I got promoted to the werewolf pack with Alcide. I was one of the werewolves there. Not the last season, but the one before that. They did away with the werewolf storyline for the last season, so I didn't get to be in the last season, but it was fun.
Okay, so you really do owe it all to True Bloods.
Yeah, sure do.
It just shows how you kind of never know where something might take you,
Right.
honestly. And I love that you were bidding on something in that Children's Hospital LA's event. They're doing their fundraising. It's so important that these children's hospitals have these fundraiser events. It helps really fund things for the kids and programs there. So that's just a great connection across that.
Well, that led to another connection. Sam Trammell, who plays Sam Merlot on the show, he introduced me to a friend of his from his hometown that's a producer. Mm-hmm. And we linked up and did a project together. And then almost 10 years later, we've done 24 together, I guess.
Wow.
So that was, I owe Sam a lot on that one too.
Okay. I feel like there's a lot we have to fill in. So you did some True Blood and then you also had this producer connection. Did you start that kind of simultaneously, or was that after?
Well, he had approached me. We did one project where I was the co-produced, and I told him, I said, I gotta have, I want to do, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have to have a line or two. And he was doing another project with James Franco, and they were looking for an executive producer. And I told him, I said, I'll do it, but I gotta have some lines. And that worked out. I read for it, and it worked out. We did the movie, and I sold my rights to the executive producer credit, but I'm still in the movie, and made my investment back, and that's how that kind of got started. And then once I started doing more and more movies, I don't have to really audition as much as I used to. I still have to occasionally, depending on the project, but I've got a good enough resume now where they can either, if they haven't heard of me, they'll look me up, or whatever, or I'll send in a tape. Is usually how that goes. If it's something I really, really. And the Vampire Diaries happened because of they were casting werewolves for the spinoff show, The Originals. Mm-hmm. Right. And I answered that and became I was in one episode of The Originals as a werewolf, and then I met the show's frontrunner Julie Platt. Then I said, my daughter loves the Vampire Diaries. I said, I got to figure out a way to, we can do something on there, and that's how I became friends with her. And she's awesome. She's the most amazing person. That is just her mind. I like to pick her brain because she is so incredible. She's a genius. I admire her a lot. And I did one episode in season 7, and then the final episode, they brought me in for the final 3 episodes. So I was in the final 3, and I had to really, because I knew a lot of secrets that they were keeping under wraps. So it was really hard to set on that, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love the Vampire Diaries. So everybody there is awesome.
Yeah, so Mr. Fall made his mark. Got to be there a fair amount. Your story is kind of incredible. Just something you were at to support a charity, and then now you have a career out of that. That is not the normal trajectory.
No, it's not. It's definitely an exception to the rule. And I left my job with the company
Just
making
that. No more chicken sales.
no. I was there 20, almost 25 years, and
Okay.
had a wild hair. And my brother told me, he said, "You're not getting any younger, dude. If you're going to do it." Because originally I was going to do one or two projects a year. Well, it came up. I got attached to like 4 and 5, so I retired. And once my daughter was out of college, I decided to go that route. But not the smartest thing I've ever done. But
you've got to take risks sometimes, right?
yeah, it is. It's definitely. And then during the strike, I was like, "What the heck am I doing?"
Right. But it's back now.
Okay, so back before you got into chicken sales, did you ever have an interest in like the film industry? Was that something like as a child you wanted to do?
As a child, yes, that's what I really, really wanted to do. And there was not a lot of opportunities in rural Alabama.
Right.
And my parents kind of discouraged that. And when my daughter was born, I was 21, and I was a single dad, so I had to buckle down and go to work and support my daughter. And once I started, and the Vampire Diaries was her favorite show, and once I got on there, I was like trying to impress her, and it worked a little bit. But her sorority sister, she hated it when I came to an event with her sorority sisters and all, because that's all they wanted to talk about.
And they recognized you,
right from the Vampire Diaries. My dad's on the Vampire Diaries. I
was definitely the oldest guy on that show.
Yeah, but fun, but a fun connection, and your story is just really, really interesting. You got involved in producing, so you went from that to producing. You produced Jiu-Jitsu starring Nicolas Cage. How did you get involved in that?
I was initially supposed to produce with Dimitri. He owns the Kickboxer franchise.
Okay.
And we were supposed to do a Kickboxer movie over in Thailand. That was gearing up, and it fell apart. But I was supposed to be with Mike Tyson and Snoop.
Okay.
And he introduced me to Mike Tyson, which is the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
Super, super sweet guy. He's just, and I grew up watching him just demolish people. And
right.
He sent me a birthday present. It's crazy.
Sweet.
Not many people can say that, I think.
Yeah, he's a neat guy.
Yeah.
But
so
Dimitri
involved in that, and then how'd you be a producer in that?
Well, I was gonna produce a little bit, and then have me in the movie, just a small part in the movie. And when that fell through, he had a different project called Jiu-Jitsu, and he was telling me about, and he said, "Would you, we'll do this one instead." And it was kind of the same deal on that. Yeah. We flew to, I was in Cyprus for it was over a month, the island of Cyprus, over by Syria.
So not like Cyprus, Florida, like the island of Cyprus. Okay.
And
amazing.
To make matters even more complicated, I had given up alcohol, and I went through rehab, and I'd just gotten out. I'd been out maybe 2 weeks when I left to go over there. So that I wouldn't recommend that for anybody struggling.
Right.
But got through it fine. It was great. Haven't touched it in almost 6 years.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when you are producing and a producer on one of these films, how involved are you in the creation of it?
To a certain extent, it depends on the project. Some projects I would be more involved, and some projects I just have my name on it. It just depends on the creative process of it. I have a little bit of input, but not make or break input.
Do you
I
prefer to have a lot of input? Is that something that excites you, or?
Actually, it's above my pay grade. Before 8 years ago, I didn't know anything about the industry, and I still don't know a lot. But I try to. The guy that Sam Tremble introduced me to, I really trust him, and in 8 years, he's never once lied to me. And there's some shady, especially on this level. There's some shady going on, and especially when money's involved. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's true. But Sean Sangani, Triple S Entertainment, is the one that I do a lot with, and I trust him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
interesting
story. To have that trust.
Yeah. 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 So what's your favorite role to date and why?
Probably, other than the Vampire Diaries, which I didn't have a lot of lines, but this latest one, Gunner, the Warner Brothers movie, I got to do kind of really, the character is really not that much different from me, because the guy that wrote it told me he wrote this character with me in mind, and so that kind of helped, and he knows me, and it just kind of worked. I thought it was, and I got to be around Morgan Freeman, which was the coolest thing ever. That was really, he and I had a real good several conversations, but we had one where it was just me and him, he and I, for like almost an hour, and nobody was like interrupting us or anything. We were just talking, and it was definitely a life-changing experience.
I mean, anytime Morgan Freeman's on just my screen, he's got my attention. So, right? He's kind of amazing.
I feel like if he just says hi to you, it would be life-changing.
Right.
Yeah. And that day that we were talking, I wasn't supposed to work that day. It was his last day on set, and I was like, I'm going in there.
Yes.
And we wound up getting to hang out a little bit, and it was really, really cool.
I really enjoy hearing about this journey, and it's kind of what you're making of this random opportunity that presented itself to you, and you just keep, even just going to set so you could meet Morgan Freeman, and now you have this conversation and a connection with him. It's really neat to hear this journey. Do you have a dream project that you'd like to act in, or some kind of a role that you'd really love to portray?
I'm still in that learning process on and knowing what I can do and what I can't do. I know comedy, I mean, I would really like to do more of. I've done a lot of action stuff. I've been set on fire before, and I'll never do that again. But I want to stay away from that. The prosthetics I don't really like. I can do them, but they had to. The last time I had the heavy prosthetics was Rogue Hostage with John Malkovich and Tyrese Gibson. And when they told me about it, I was like, how long is it going to take to put it on? And they said, about an hour. It was about 4 hours to get all the stuff on.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't really care for that. And then we had to do the fire gag where I had to be set on fire like 3 times.
Of course.
Okay, let's pause your other story and tell us a little bit about being set on fire. What does that entail?
They spray this stuff all over you. It feels like some kind of gel. And they put something in your mouth I guess where you won't breathe the flames in. And then they set it, and you do the action, and then a guy basically tackles you with a blanket and puts you out, because you only have like a certain number of seconds before that stuff will, it'll start to burn you. And I was okay until they said, now they were having the safety briefing. They said, now you're going to want to come up and congratulate John. You're going to want to hug him or pat him on the back. Do not do that, because he is very flammable and he could ignite again. I was like,
okay. Great.
So it was, and I had a long fight scene with Tyrese Gibson, and that took about 7 hours. And the only thing that made it into the final cut was just this one part where he hits me with a crowbar. And we were fighting gun wise, and we were shooting all that, but it was, and it was right when COVID first started, and I was nervous about flying. We shot it in New Jersey, and I was so paranoid about. And then the minute I get there, I get an email. Oh, we have a positive test on set. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going home. It was a big chance for me, and they came back and said it was a false positive. But I didn't really like getting tested every 48 hours for the whole time you're there for 3 weeks. I was there 3 weeks, but that was was part of it. I never got it. That was the weird thing. I never got the virus, not the whole time. And I was on a smaller plane with my brother had it, and my girlfriend and I were both. We never got it. Everybody else got it, but us.
Huh.
I don't know.
Luck is on your side.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my parents were they're in their 80s. My dad just recently passed away, but when my brother gave it to them, I was like, "Nice going, jerk! You got mom and dad sick." Because I wouldn't even go see them because I was scared if I was carrying it. I didn't want to make them sick.
Right. Especially with exposure when you're working like that, because when they're filming, you're in masks. Those were hard times for everybody.
And then the strike happens.
And then the strike happened. Well, and then here we made it out to the other side, past the strike, past the pandemic, right? Dream role. What would you really like to do sometime?
I would love to do one. I mean, it's the nerd coming out in me, but one of the Star Wars. All those shows. Something along that line. That would be incredible. But
any of those Star Wars shows that keep rolling out.
I love those.
So fun, right? To be able to be on a Star Wars set, that would be amazing.
It would be incredible. I would like to
I feel
do.
Like it's happening for you, John. I feel like everything else keeps coming. Let's put that out there. Yeah.
It's I wish it would. I would like to do a football movie too. I've done. I was supposed to do a movie with Ashley Judd, and I was going to be the TCU head coach, and that fell apart. There's so many things that you get approached with that you don't want to jinx it until it actually happens. But I would love to do a football movie too.
And you mentioned comedy earlier. Have you done any comedy yet?
I've done not really a full-fledged like a romantic comedy. There's been some films where I've gotten to be funny. I like to do more, develop a character on that grounds, more trying to be funny. But that would be I would love to do that. I love comedians. I just got to meet Nikki Glazer a couple of weeks ago. That was really cool. She's a hot commodity right now.
Yeah.
She's New York Times Comedian of the Year, and she's hosting the Golden Globes.
Yes. Yeah. No, she is a hot commodity. That's cool.
She's really, really, really nice. She's very smart. I just really like her, and I'd love to work with her on something one day.
I think comedians just have to be smart in order to have that quick wit or to put the things together to make it funny, right? Like, they're all smart.
Yeah. My buddy, I'm good friends with Taylor Hicks. I don't know if you remember him from the American Idol. He's got a big show on Friday night. It's a Christmas show I'm got to go to. And that guy knows everybody too. I'm looking for a project for he and I to do together. I just did a couple of projects with my girlfriend of 6 years. It's called The Fearway. It's on Amazon, and it was her very first movie. She had been after me for years about I want to audition. I want to. She's
Yeah.
really pretty, really smart, and I kind of tried to not encourage it, and because of all the some of the mess that goes on,
Right.
and there was a project that I got approached with, and it was the Fairway, and I didn't really want to do it, but I said if you let her audition, you don't have to hire her. I'll do the film because it was a non union film,
Right.
Okay.
so which means I can't take a paycheck for it, and she auditioned. They loved her, and she wound up being kind of upstaging me a good bit. So
All right,
for
you
her
guys
first
said
movie, it was really good.
that one is on Prime,
Yes,
And the
it's
name
called
is?
it's called The Fearway.
The
I think
Fear.
it's on. I think it's on Tubi too.
Okay.
Seemed like I was at I was checking into a hotel somewhere, and they had Tubi on and I clicked on it, and then there was The Fairway right there. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Is
That's
that
really
kind of is that funny to see yourself on
Yeah,
the Yeah.
they had like 3 of my films on there on the app at the hotel, which I thought was kind of cool.
That is kind of
It's,
cool.
it's very cool.
And I've only seen one of my films on a flight. I fly a lot, obviously,
Okay.
and that was an experience. Just looking on the pay-per-view, not the pay-per-view, but the movies you can
Right.
watch and seeing it.
Shuffle through. You're like, hey.
We
And
talk to a lot of actors, and some of them can't watch themselves, and some of them always watch themselves. Some people have very mixed feelings about it. How do you land on that spectrum?
Kind of in the middle.
Mhm.
It depends on how I thought I did. If I thought I did great, then I would. I'm my worst critic, but I don't watch it a lot. But it's kind of cool, and to watch a movie with my mom, she's 81.
Yeah.
And I played a little trick on her. That was a film that we'd done it for Showtime, I think, and they had another network had bought it like two or 3 years later, and they did a little bit of editing, but they changed the name.
Okay.
And so for Great American Family, it was saying world premiere, and she had already seen the movie, but I didn't tell her because it was a different title. I said, Mom, I'm coming over. We're going to watch the world premiere. And she said, oh, okay, that'd be fun. And about 5 minutes into it, she goes, I've seen this before. I said, no, you haven't, Mom. It's a world premiere. And it went on for a little bit. And she said, you butthole, I have seen this. And I said, yeah, they just changed the name.
That's spectacular.
Yeah, she's a mess.
Mom. You gotta love Mom, right?
Mhm.
Do you have any upcoming projects we can look for?
There's one called Barron's Cove that Mandalay Pictures is putting out. I think it comes out in the spring.
Okay.
And I don't have a really big role in it, but it's going to be a really big movie. I've seen the finished product, and I actually showed it to my mom, and she's like, "That's the best movie you've ever been attached to."
Yeah.
And I said, "Whoa, that says a lot for her because she's very doesn't like everything." But I go over there if I'm in town. I go over to her house on Sundays. So
Yep.
she lives about 30 minutes from here, and every Sunday that's our night. We watch something on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. Are you also producing on this one, or just you just
no?
have the acting one? Okay.
I just got a little small role.
Do you know where that's gonna air?
I think it's going to be in theaters, but I'm not.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not.
I know.
You never know, right?
We never know
I'm the
anymore.
last. You guys would know before I would.
Okay. We're pretty good at tracking some of this stuff down. Well, that sounds exciting. To being something that's looking at possibly being in theaters.
Yeah, it premiered at the Long Island Film Festival.
Mhm.
back in, I think in September, I believe it was September or October, and I was supposed to go to that, but I had a scheduling conflict.
Oh.
But I only did one movie this year that it's a movie with Tommy Lee Jones and James Franco that I've got one good scene in it. It's called Tommy Lee's character is called the Tax Man. I think it's called Razor's Edge.
Okay.
Razor's Edge, okay.
And I don't really know a whole lot about it other than I got to work with Tommy Lee Jones, which is
Right.
kind of cool, I guess.
Good enough, yeah.
I was going to say, what more do you need to know? Right.
Yeah.
Some really great projects.
Yeah, I got two in the works that are one's actually supposed to start in January. I don't know a whole lot about it, and I haven't signed yet, so it's like I don't want to jinx it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
but
then,
potentially more coming.
Yeah, there's one other one that I know pretty much for sure is there's a rapper, Master P. His name's Percy Miller. He's a famous rap guy, and he's an entrepreneur. He's doing a project that they want me on that I'm gonna do, because I've done a little bit for his charity in New Orleans, the city of New Orleans. He does a lot for that city, and he's just an interesting guy. He's lived a lot. He's really, and he's a good person. He's good soul, good people.
Yeah.
8 years ago, when you were selling chicken, were you thinking you'd be hanging out with Master P?
No, not at all.
It's quite the journey. This might be one of the most interesting journeys we've ever heard, honestly. I'm a chicken guy,
crazy.
Master P. Let's go.
It's been crazy. I went to there's another rapper that I got to hang with, and Baron Davis, who's he was a basketball player. He played for Charlotte. He was one of my favorite players when I was in college, and I met him through a friend, and we were trying to come up. He's doing movies now, and we're trying to work out a project, but it didn't work out. But he called me on FaceTime one day, and he's with Snoop Dogg. And okay.
Snoop Dogg, who's like everybody's grandpa now after he hosted the Olympics and everything. We're all like,
he's so funny. He is hilarious to me.
Who knew, like in the 80s, that this was going to be our like Olympic guy and our like the United States grandpa for everybody.
I mean, he certainly wasn't the grandpa the last concert I went to.
I know, but it's a fun transition. It's been really amazing transition to watch. I'm like, I'm here for this, getting older like this. Like, let's go. This is fun.
And him and Martha cracked me up.
Oh, gosh, they're hilarious. That's just a whole nother combo and conversation, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So on the producing, side of your career, are you interested in kind of coming up with ideas and developing your own ideas? Or are you just happy being a producer?
I'm happy to an extent, but I would love to develop my own projects and try to make some money out of it. I definitely wouldn't be the lead if I wanted to I would want to get my money back.
Right.
But this is so hard that it's hard to do. And I don't know a lot of I don't know much about the industry very in this level. I'm gonna learn as much as I can before I take that step. But yeah, I would love to do my own projects. That would be my neighbor, who's my best friend. He put me in his first feature. Blackwater Wilderness it's on, I think, Prime too. Yeah. He lives literally lives right down the street, and he's put me in several of his different projects. He's the probably the best one has been Jailhouse to Millhouse. It's not out yet. It's a documentary on Pamela Hayden. The voice of Millhouse from The Simpsons.
Right.
he introduced me to her and Mr. Buddy years ago. And the more I learned about her, the more fascinated I became. I was like, why has nobody done a movie on this? Because she is just fascinating person. She, her and Buddy, her partner, he played football here, and I live in Tuscaloosa, University of Alabama. He played for Coach Bryant, and I would sit and listen to him for hours, telling me stories. But Pamela was the only one of my Hollywood friends that, when I was in rehab, she was sending me cards and letters and calling me there and just encouraging me. And she, that woman's amazing. Her story is I can't wait for y'all to see it. It's incredible. It's an incredible story. There's stuff like that. If I can get, attached to, things like that, those projects,
Right.
and it's a feel good project. She just retired from The Simpsons, and I didn't quite know how to feel about that because it was like my buddy Milhouse, for 35 years that I felt like I had a connection to him, and now he's like, she's not going to be doing the voice anymore.
Right.
So it was kind of sad.
Yeah. I'm sure it's sad for that humongous Simpson fandom too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Simpsons is its own thing too. It's like, how many seasons? Like, it's like nobody else is even in the running with them. Like, there's nothing else to compare it to.
Not really. That was one cool thing that I kind of turned into a 10-year-old. Pamela got me into a table read for an episode of The Simpsons.
Oh.
So I got to be in the room with
where it happens.
I had my script and the creator, Matt, he came over and he said, "Let me see that, John." And he drew a little picture of Bart and Milhouse, and it was unreal. Just even setting foot on the Fox studio lot was amazing. And then watching them read a whole episode was really cool. I'll never forget that.
I mean, The Simpsons, it's literally a standalone thing.
Right.
Nobody else is The Simpsons or
It's
even
iconic
close.
at this point. Yeah.
Right.
Well, South Park I think they're at season 27, which is not anywhere close to, to The Simpsons, but they've been at it a long time too.
Right.
And I just think, when we were really young and watching cartoons on Saturday morning, like, there was no such thing as like cartoons like this. And then once that started, it's like clearly our generation just went, yeah, we're just going to keep watching cartoons.
them.
Thank you very much.
That's a long time.
Yes.
It's been a journey, and like you like know these characters. Like, these characters are complex. They've been through a lot.
I would love for like The Simpsons or Family Guy, or if I could get to the point where they would make fun of me, that would be how I know I arrived.
You made it.
Right?
Yeah.
Because Family Guy ripped on my buddy Taylor Hicks a couple of times.
Oh yeah.
I was like, man, that's
when you know
so
you
cool.
made it. If SNL is making fun of you,
oh yeah,
we do a lot in the Hallmark world, and they were, on Jimmy Fallon was making fun of like Hallmark posters or whatever. It's like, you made it because you're iconic enough to be a joke. Like,
right.
You have to be iconic enough in order for people to get the joke. Right?
Get the joke, right?
Yeah, some of my colleagues kind of made fun of me when I started doing those Christmas movies for Lifetime, and the salary's not that great because they make them pretty cheap, but the residuals are
just keep coming.
It's incredible. And the buddy of mine that really made fun of me, he did one this year, and I was like, not so funny now, is it?
Right. Now you get it.
Yeah, he's like, let me sign up for another one.
I would love
to do just work.
Yep. And they're iconic. People watch them over and over too. They air them over and over. Christmas in July. Like, it's a good thing.
That happened. My dog got really freaked out. It was in July or March or somewhere, and it was like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I fell asleep with the TV on, and it just so happened this movie was playing in the middle of the night, and I could hear my voice, and it was like I was dreaming. I was like, it integrated it into the dream. And I opened my eyes, and my dog was looking at the TV, and she was like, she didn't
What
know
is
what to
going
think.
on?
That's funny. That is funny.
I love that. Well, since we're talking about Christmas, we should finish up while you play our favorites game with us.
Sure.
Sure. This is our holiday edition. Do you have a favorite holiday movie?
Yes. Probably White Christmas, the old Bing Crosby.
Same. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Top 2 for me. Yep.
Yep. Iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. How about a holiday song?
The first one that popped into my head is it's very corny. It's Grandma
Please,
got
please.
run over by reindeer.
Yeah, you are not the only person to say that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
What about a favorite holiday food?
I keep thinking about this dressing that my mom does, and
Oh.
she still does it to this day. And she did mess it up one year. It's, I guess, from getting old, but it's not like anything I've ever had, and I don't really touch anybody else's dressing because of it. It's so good.
I think that homemade, your family's dressing, it's like, this is my dressing. This is what I want, right? So good.
I love all the sweets. That's one bad thing about quitting drinking. You get that sugar craving. Like I never ate desserts before, and then all of a sudden, I guess because of the no alcohol, your body's used to a certain amount of sugar.
Right.
And I would know the story about that. It's about Al Pacino saving my life. So
Really?
If we get to it, let's finish the
Okay.
Christmas.
Then we definitely need to circle around to that.
Yeah. Holiday tradition. What's your favorite holiday tradition?
Watching the Disney parade on that I think they record it like in November or something, but they play it on ABC on Christmas Day, and which my daughter, I'm about to be a grandfather in February.
Oh,
congratulations!
So thank you. I'm excited. I'm super excited. It's gonna be a little boy. I was real close with my grandfather. My grandfather died when I was like 13. So, but looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
And that's going to be a great tradition to share with your grandson when he's here, is to continue watching that Disney parade. That's a favorite at our house too. Get that put on. I don't know why we always turn down the Macy's parade too, and then we turn on the Christmas parade. We like having those on. It's just kind of fun. It's become a tradition. Yeah, that sounds like a great tradition to pass on.
Yeah, I'm all about tradition. We have certain ones that we do, and my daughter lives about 5 minutes from here, so
that's nice.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, that is good. That is good.
That's so exciting to be a grandfather.
Yeah.
I was very close to my grandfather too, so I know how special that relationship can be.
Yes.
Well, let's hear about how Al Pacino helped you out.
Yeah, he actually saved my life. We were filming American Trader, The Trial of Axis Sally, down in Puerto Rico. And I had been on 4 movies back to back, and I used to drink a lot. And that just kind of, when I quit my day job and started doing this, it seemed to kind of get worse, because it's like, you're with these, Hollywood BS, and it kind of explains why I left a 6-figure job to come do this. Everything sounds like a good idea when you're day drinking.
Yeah.
And it was so bad that Tito's vodka, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the brand. They actually had to lay off a shift when I quit. No, I'm just kidding, but it was really bad. I shouldn't joke about that, but we were filming American Trader, and Al, just to get to, I was the jury foreman for that trial, and so every day I got to see the Al Pacino do his thing, and it had gotten so bad to the point where I was having health problems, and I was having, if I didn't have a drink within 4 or 5 hours, I
Yeah.
got the shakes really bad, and,
Yeah.
and the DTs, what I call. And right in the middle of one of his had a long monologue, and it's in Puerto Rico, and I'm in a wool suit because it's a World War II
Yeah.
courtroom drama, and I felt it coming on, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh no, oh my gosh. And it was getting progressively worse. And he spotted me. We made eye contact, and he comes over to the jury box and slams his hands down on the railing right in front of me, and he said, "Son, you need to get your SHIT together." And I nearly had a heart attack, getting uh, called out by Al Pacino. Is pretty terrifying, and went and got some help. And I knew I needed help before that.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get by, trying to get through these movies, and was going to deal with it then. But I went home, went straight to a facility in Florida, and that was the end of it. I haven't seen him since. We haven't crossed paths any, but he probably don't even remember that. I mean, it was right in the middle of the scene, and he went right back to what he was doing after that. But I wanted to let him know that
You know
had a
that
huge.
that he called it out means he recognized it though too.
Oh yeah,
Right? So
yeah, definitely.
and sometimes
like the right person at the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
And also you didn't need sometimes you just don't need a filtered approach. You need a direct approach.
Yeah,
And
Michael Corleone tells you something, you listen.
yeah, exactly.
And then some of the producers that were there, that ooh, Scarface just got on you.
Yep.
I was like,
Exactly.
I'm thankful he did, but I'm thankful
Yeah,
he did.
no. Sometimes that's actually giving you a lot to say that they can see that you're struggling. And I'm so happy that you got some help. And I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to. And right, what is it that took to get some help? And now you're continuing on this path, this amazing journey. It's kind of it's really a great story.
Amazing.
It's something. And I still go to. I'll do some speaking gigs for some of the rehab centers, and go in and tell my story and try to help. If I'm just helping one person, I mean, it's
Right.
worth it.
Absolutely.
But it hadn't been easy, but throwing myself into the work kind of helped a lot too. But it's just if everybody's going, we wrap for the day, and everybody's like, we're gonna. I just go to my hotel room.
Right.
Watch some TV and go to bed.
Right.
The best way to do it for me. But I've just now gotten to where like I can go into like a bar and stuff and not
Drink.
I don't think about it.
Right.
It just is not part of my not part of my life. And there's a certain amount of alcohol I believe a human can intake, and I just got to mine earlier than a lot of people. But I'm thankful that it happened, and thankful to Al.
Well, we're happy. Yeah, doing that. We're happy to see your beautiful journey as a person, and then as an actor. It's been super interesting. So what projects can people look for this next year?
The ones the only one that should be coming out is the Barron's Cove, and one called Fog of War.
Okay.
It's a World War II spy thriller type thing. I think those are the only two that aren't out. I mean, I've got one that I did with Molly Ringwald like 5 years ago. No, 6 years ago. That's still not out.
Wow.
Which is terrible because I love my scene with her. And I used to love her. I had a crush on her when I was growing up. And
I don't think you were alone in that.
She's amazing. She murders me, and
Perfect.
I don't know how many times I've been murdered or shot and chopped up and set on fire.
Set on fire.
Set on fire. Reset on fire.
Oh my gosh, we had to do that so many times. That was terrible.
Goodness. Well, that is amazing. We'll be watching for your upcoming projects. And I'm sure now that we've seen you face to face, we're going to start catching you in all these things we've seen and maybe didn't connect with you before. So that's exciting. Where can people follow you on social media?
I'm on all of Instagram, John Hickman. I even do TikTok. I know I'm a little bit old for that, but I just turned 50, so I'm not too bad. But
not too bad.
Not too bad at all. I'm not too far away.
There's some fake accounts on a couple of those but mine will be the verified.
Okay.
It's Instagram, TikTok, X, or Twitter.
Okay, so you're everywhere as John Hickman verified.
Yeah, or John D. Hickman is. I think my Twitter is John D. Hickman, but it should, you just Google it, it'll come up all the ones.
We'll be following you and looking for all your exciting projects. And John, thank you so much for being here. This has been so interesting and delightful to get to know you and your journey.
Very delightful to get to know you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Have a good one.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, everybody. Yes, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You, everybody, for watching and listening. And please be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If I can talk right. And thank you. Bye. John, hang on for 1 second.
Okay.